Hello viewers and welcome to Rajput, Jain and Associate. Today in this video we will discuss about the amendment to GST registration as well as the cancellation of GST registration. So starting with the amendment to GST registration. So once the applicant is registered under GST, the need for amendment in registration may arise due to several factors like the change in address, change in contact number and change in business details and so on. So now in order to amend any information post registration, the taxpayer would be required to file an application for the amendment of registration. Now, the application for amendment of registration can be of two types. One is the application for the amendment of core fields and the other one can be for the non-core fields. So what does core field means? Core field under the registration includes the name of the business with which the legal name is provided on the PAN, any sort of addition or deletion that is made to the stakeholders of the entity, and lastly the principal place of business or the additional place of business of the entity. Next one is non-core fields. So all the other fields of the registration application excluding those which we have already discussed under the core fields are called non-core fields. One important thing to note here is that the non-core fields are available for editing and the changes are made which will be auto-populated in the registration of the taxpayer. Also, no approval is required from the GST authority in case the amendment to non-core fields. Now, there are certain fields which cannot be amended under GST registration. Thus, an application for amendment cannot be filed in case, first of all, there is a change in PAN number of the registered entity. So, an application for amendment of registration cannot be made for change in PAN registration because the GST registration is provided on PAN India basis. Thus, in case of change in PAN number, the registered person is required to make a fresh application for GST registration. Next one is change in the constitution of business. So an application for amendment of registration cannot be filed for change in constitution since such a change would result in change in PAN number of the said entity. And last one is the place of business from one state to another. So an application for amendment of registration cannot be filed if there is a change in place of business from one state to another. Why? Because the GST registration is state specific. So in case a person wishes to relocate their business to another state, then the said person shall undertake voluntary cancellation of their GST registration under the current state and shall apply for a fresh registration in the state of relocation. Next we come to the timeline for amendment. In case a taxpayer is required to undertake modification in the GST registration, the same is required to submit an application with the required documents for the amendment on the GST portal within 15 days of such amendment. Once the approval is received for GST REG 14 amendment form, the said changes will be corrected in form GST REG 06. Now having discussed about the amendment of GST registration, we will now come to GST cancellation. So how can a taxpayer apply for cancellation of GST? So to file for cancellation of GST, the taxpayer is required to visit the GST portal. After this, they need to log in into the GST portal using their registered user ID and password. Then, the applicant shall search for the application for cancellation in the service section. After this, the form application for cancellation of registration shall be filed by the applicant very sincerely and very carefully. Now, under the form, the first tab will be pre-filled in respect of the basic details and the address of the place of business. After this, the taxpayer shall select the suitable reason from the reason for cancellation drop-down list. Now under this list, there are 5 reasons that are available. First one is change in the constitution of the business leading to the change in the PAN number. Second one is cease to be a person liable to pay tax. Third one is discontinuation of business or closure of business. Fourth one is transfer of business on account of amalgamation, merger, demerger, sale, lease or otherwise. And last one is any other reason which the applicant would deem fit. Next, the applicant would be required to fill the cancellation details according to the reason selected. After this, the taxpayer shall select the name of the authorized signatory from the name of the authorized signatory drop-down list. Then provide the place of making the declaration. Finally, the authorized signatory shall sign the form using their digital signature certificate or the electronic verification certificate option. Once successful verification takes place and the application is submitted, the system will generate an ARN number which will be displayed on the confirmation message. Once the authentication is done, the application will be forwarded to the GST registration department and the same will pass a decision after complete verification. So this was all about amendment to GST registration and its cancellation. In case of any query or if you want to know more about it, contact Rajput Jain and Associate, or you can also visit our website carajput.com. Thank you.